वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
धीर मारुती अति धीर मारुती,
धीर मारुती अति धीर मारुती,
जीव मारुती चिरंजीवी मारुती,
जीव मारुती चिरंजीवी मारुती,
रूप मारुती विश्वरूप मारुती,
रूप मारुती विश्वरूप मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
वीर मारुती
गंभीर मारुती,
शूर मारुती वानर शूर मारुती,
शूर मारुती वानर शूर मारुती,
देह मारुती स्वर्ण देह मारुती,
देह मारुती स्वर्ण देह मारुती,
श्रेष्ठ मारुती वानर श्रेष्ठ मारुती,
श्रेष्ठ मारुती वानर श्रेष्ठ मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
ईश मारुती कपीश मारुती,
ईश मारुती कपीश मारुती,
वेग मारुती वायु वेग मारुती,
वेग मारुती वायु वेग मारुती,
बल मारुती बल भीम मारुती,
बल मारुती बल भीम मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
नेय मारुती आंजनेय मारुती,
नेय मारुती आंजनेय मारुती,
दूत मारुती रामदूत मारुती,
दूत मारुती रामदूत मारुती,
गीत मारुती संगीत मारुती,
गीत मारुती संगीत मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
भक्त मारुती परम भक्त मारुती,
भक्त मारुती परम भक्त मारुती,
दास मारुती रामदास मारुती,
दास मारुती रामदास मारुती,
वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती,
वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती, वीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती, गंभीर मारुती गंभीर मारुती. Page 90. In honor of upcoming Janma Jayanti of Pujya Gurudev, we'll be chanting at least one Guru Bhajan every Sunday. तू ही राम तू ही घनश्याम,
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 तू ही रघुनंदन जय सिया राम।
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 हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम।
चिन्मयानंद गुरु तुम्हें प्रणाम।
चिन्मयानंद गुरु तुम्हें प्रणाम।
चिन्मयानंद गुरु तुम्हें प्रणाम।
चिन्मयानंद गुरु तुम्हें प्रणाम।
जय तपोवन जी जय गुरु नाम।
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 हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम।
तू ही ईश्वर तू ही महेश्वर।
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 तू ही परमेश्वर तू ही श्याम।
तू ही परमेश्वर तू ही श्याम। तू ही
परमेश्वर तू ही श्याम।
तू ही परमेश्वर तू ही श्याम।
हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
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 हरि ओम हरि ओम।
ओम न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्था संन्यासयोगात् यतयच्छुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृता परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दहरं विपापं परमेष्मभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमद्य सगस्थं तत्रापि दहरं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् दन्तस्तदुपासितव्यं यो वेदादौ स्वरप्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भाति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति.
We stand as one family,
We stand as one family,
bound to each other with love and respect.
bound to each other with love and respect.
We serve as an army,
We serve as an army,
courageous and disciplined,
courageous and disciplined,
ever ready to fight
ever ready to fight
against all low tendencies and false values
against all low tendencies and false values
within and without us.
within and without us.
We live honestly
We live honestly
the noble life of sacrifice and service,
the noble life of sacrifice and service,
producing more than what we consume
producing more than what we consume
and giving more than what we take.
and giving more than what we take.
We seek the Lord's grace
We seek the Lord's grace
to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom.
to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom.
May thy grace and blessings
May thy grace and blessings
flow through us
flow through us
to the world around us.
to the world around us.
We believe that the service of our country
We believe that the service of our country
is the service of the Lord of Lords,
is the service of the Lord of Lords,
and devotion to the people
and devotion to the people
is the devotion to the Supreme Self.
is the devotion to Himself.
We know our responsibilities.
We know our responsibility.
Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them.
Give us the ability and courage to fulfill.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Shri Chinmaya Sat Gurave Namaha. 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 Om Shri Chinmaya Sat Gurave Namaha.
Hari Om. Yesterday, we lost an important figure. Shri Pranjivan Lodhia, fondly known as Pranji, a long-time devotee of Gurudev, passed away yesterday in California. Pranji was the original board member of Chinmaya Mission West from 1981 to 2021, just like our Gaurang uncle. And Pranji served earnestly as a treasurer and a director of CMW. Pranji visited our Houston campus during our temple inauguration and many other times. Excuse me. So, let us join in offering our prayers for his family by observing a moment of silence. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Happy Hanuman Jayanti, happy Easter today. And as the days are going by, our much awaited Gita chanting competition is coming closer and closer, which is on May 7th, Saturday. We will also celebrate Pujya Gurudev's Janma Jayanti on Sunday, May 8th. Then the 12th grade graduation is on May 16th, following Sunday. And May 22nd is our last day of Balvihar and Sunday Satsang for this academic year. We will open on September 11th for the next academic year. One good news, we are going to celebrate our much awaited and missed Navaratri Garba this year. Which is on September 17th, which is immediately after we open. I will have more details in upcoming weeks. So, as announced in the email, last week's e-announcements, next Sunday, on April 24th, Seva's Disaster Preparedness Training Team is coming down here in Smriti Hall to give us a 1-hour presentation, especially for us. So be prepared to stay back, not for the disaster, but for disaster preparedness. We will serve light snacks right after Puja Uncle's pravachan. Those of you who are watching online on YouTube, you can use the same link starting at 11:25, but it will benefit you more if you come down here in person and attend both pravachan followed by this disaster preparedness training. Thank you. Hari Om.
May 8th is Gurudev's birthday, so let us remember Gurudev. Jatibai.
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा
मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है
मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है
मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है बस एक यही मेरा बल है
बस एक यही मेरा बल है
बस एक यही मेरा बल है
बस एक यही मेरा बल है
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा
गुरुदेव तव
अज्ञान भरे संशय से भरे अज्ञान भरे संशय से भरे विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे
विपरीत विचारों
विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे
विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे
मन के अंधकार को दूर करे
मन के अंधकार को दूर करे
वचनामृत से तव बोध कृपा
वचनामृत से तव बोध कृपा
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा
गुरुदेव तव
पल पल पग पग जीवन पथ पर
पल पल जीवन पथ पर
पल पल पग पग जीवन पथ पर
पल 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 जीवन पथ पर
गुरु साथ मेरे रक्षक बनकर
गुरु साथ मेरे रक्षक बनकर
बिसरूं न कभी यह प्रेममयी
बिसरूं न कभी यह प्रेममयी
आनंदमयी भवदीय कृपा
आनंदमयी भवदीय कृपा
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है
मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है
बस एक यही मेरा बल है
बस एक यही मेरा बल है
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा
महनीय कृपा
महनीय कृपा
अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देव वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Sloka number 1 and 5. Skip 2, 3 and 4.
कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलं कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडं कृतिमहो दधौ
Now skip 2, 3 and 4.
Sorry.
1 and 5.
जगत ईषधी युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिभृत् देवपूजनम्
Jagat Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Bru Deva Pujanam Ashtamurti Bru Deva Pujanam Jagat Ishadi. May I understand at my buddhi level what? That the entire Jagat Ishadi Yukta Sevanam. My Lord Bhagwan pervades through the entire Jagat. Astamurti Bru, which we have seen, 5 plus 2 and 1, the 5 elements, mind, intellect, etc. 8 Bru, a Deva Pujanam. Worship of this entire manifested universe. Meaning the world around me is the worship of Bhagwan, Deva Pujanam. Next Sunday, after the class, I don't know, 11:15 or 11:30? 11:30, we will have, what is it called? The Seva International is going to come here to train us for disaster relief. Some of you may remember last time when we had disaster here and so much water had come, the flooding, etc. Suddenly we formed this Chinmaya Seva group, Manasa, etc. They all got together and many of you joined, and not only our members but others who were in trouble, they were able to help. So here is a formal training that helps us to organize better to help. Remember, charity begins at home. If my brother needs funds, help, I should first help him. Then whatever more I have, I help him. So if we start and at least help ourselves, others will not have to help Chinmaya Mission members. So they are available for others. And then we can, of course, go and expand and help others also. So those of you who are here, I know most of you, not all, but many of you are 65 plus. But there are ways we can help. And all those who are listening on YouTube, if you can come, allow your children to log on one day, but you come here. And those who are just kind of lazy, because I know some of you don't have children at home, but let us just listen to it let Gaurang uncle go there. Understand, this is your opportunity to get trained. So come next Sunday, get trained. So in case, we all know weather is really getting bad everywhere. Disasters are happening more and more. So if you are here and trained, number one, Seva International volunteers will feel good that Chinmaya Mission is really interested, and it gives us an opportunity to fulfill what we are studying. Jagat Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Astamurti Bhrut Deva Pujanam. Okay? Now go to Manasam tu Kim.
Manasam tu Kim Margane Krute Naiva Manasam Marga Arjavat Vruttayastvaham Vrittimashitaha Vruttayo Mano Vidyaham Manah Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvatah Aipatatyaham nija vicharanam Ahaminashabhajyah mahantaya Spurtirutsvayam paramapurnasat
Together, Aham विनाशभाजहमहं तया स्फुरतिरुत्स्वयं परमपूर्णसत् स्फुरतिरुत्स्वयं परमपूर्णसत्. So the thought flow is, my mind is a challenge. Raman Maharshi says, but inquire before you say my mind is a challenge. And when you inquire, manasantu kim, what is mind? Margane krute, inquire, naeva manasam, marga arjavat. He says, when you start inquiring, you will find out that mind itself is not there. In other words, that which has a beginning and an end is only temporary. So that which, in the flower example we saw, that's a little difficult. You have it on YouTube also. Think about it if you want to. But that which is, appears right now, but was not there before or later, is called temporary or mithya. And that which is mithya, remember, the snake on the rope, no matter how mighty the wave is, it can never give trouble to the ocean. The snake can never trouble the rope. So if the mind is mithya, how can it give trouble to me? I am the one who is aware of mind. So that is manasantu kim, margane krute, naiva manasam, marga arjava. But there are three types of individuals. Ignorant doesn't mean we have to belittle them. But those who have never inquired, what is this world, what is my relationship with Jagat, who is God, who am I, one who has never thought, he naturally dances to the music of his mind. Mind is happy, I am happy. Mind is not happy, I am not happy. To such an individual, really, the world is too much. Then there are those who have inquired but little bit intellectually understood, and then there are those who are established in the truth. They have experienced what? Absence of mind, that mind is mithya. Mind no longer bothers them. But this in-between people are you and I. And to him he addresses, let us explore a little bit in more detail. What is mind? So once you understand what is mind, then maybe we can move closer to those who have realized, because now we understand what is mind. So he says, Vruttayaha tu aham vruttim asritaha, Vruttayo manaha vidhi aham manaha. Vruttayaha tu aham vruttim asrita. Vruttaya meaning all the vruttis. Meaning any thought is nothing but vritti, thought is vritti or vichar, any flow of thought in our mind. At any given time, mind is always occupied with some vichar, something is going on. That all those, he says, vrittaya tu aham vrittim asritaha. They depend on I vritti, and he says, vrittayaha manaha. All the flowing vrittis, meaning one after other thought that is coming, is what is mind. Vidhi aham manaha. And know that aham vritti upon which all the vrittis depend as the real mind. So, Raman Maharshi divides the same mind into two. And this is really the trick of the mind. And we all have experience, except we have never inquired. When you and I go to bed and we dream, one person goes to bed, and in the dream, the same mind, only one mind, but what does it create? I, the subject, and the world of objects, people around me, Parvat and everything. Meaning what? That duality, I and id aham, and this, idam, all the objects. Hey, if there is only one mind, where do all this come from? This is called a trick of the mind, that it creates, this is mithya, it creates duality, which really does not exist. In Mandukya Upanishad, the Karikakari gives so many beautiful karikas. He says, you are dreaming of an elephant, and then you wake up. But it's understand, You yourself, the body, mind is in the body is so small, and you dream of an elephant. How can the elephant remain there? So how this entire dream is mithya. And all the thoughts that come, so there are two thoughts, I and idam, all the thoughts that come. So he says, Vruttaya tu aham vritti masritaha. How? Let us quickly review. We saw it last time also. Right now, each one of you are listening to the pravachan. So, what is it? I am listening to the pravachan. I know I am listening to the pravachan. I know I am giving the pravachan. Right? When you are watching a movie, I know I am watching the movie. Right? Anything you do, any knowledge is what? I know. Without you knowing, in deep sleep, there is no vritti, no vichar, because the very I is not there. When the I know is not there, then there can be no other vrittis. So what Bhagavan says, that this is a pot, this is a, this, etc. These thoughts are continuous, but they come and go. They come and go, meaning I am happy now, I am unhappy, I feel rich, I feel poor, all this depending on outside circumstances, and they come to my mind only in the form of thought. Remember, your balance in the bank doesn't come in the mind. But when you look at the statement and you feel happy or unhappy, depending on what your goal is and where you are, right? That all happens here. But why does it happen? I know I am slim. I know during the last 2 years of COVID, there were not that many physical activity, and naturally I am past the age of 16, so there is no vertical growth. But during the last 2 years, there was a little bit of horizontal growth in the center of the body. And now I need to exercise. But all this is what? I know. So Bhagavan says, drop the idam vrittis, because they are it's a big variety, it comes and goes. But the I know is constant, that I am and I know. So he says, what is mind then? Vrittayaha manaha. Flowing thoughts are mind, but we put all the idam vrittis away with the aham manaha. He says, no, this aham vritti, the one that says I'm slim, I'm fat, I'm tall, I'm short, I'm rich, I'm happy, I'm unhappy, that ahankar, that aham, know that to be the mind. Okay? So he says, now please understand, when you are in deep sleep, what happens to the aham vritti? Right now, the perceiver, feeler, thinker, the aham vritti, functioning through body, mind and intellect, you are the waker. When you are dreaming, you are no longer aware of the physical body. Even intellect is not fully available. That's why in dream you may get in your car and also drive over water, because Vivek is not fully available. But the ahankar functioning through the antakaran is dream. And when even not functioning through this is completely withdrawn and only ignorance, right? Karana sarir also, that my ahankar is completely folded, no more vrittis. So there is a period during deep sleep when there are no more vrittis, meaning the ahankar itself is no more. Meaning the one that I say I am happy, I am unhappy, during deep sleep that I am is not there. So therefore now Bhagavan says, chant this again please.
18?
No, ahamayam kuto.
Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvatah. Aipatatyaham nija vicharanam.
Ahamayam kutah bhavati. See, sometimes my throat just doesn't cooperate, so I ask her to chant, so I get 30 seconds off. Aham ayam kutah bhavati. So this one thought alone, right? Aham vritti, I. Idam vrittis come and go. So he says, ahamayam kutah bhavati. where does this aham vritti come into existence? Ahamayam kutah bhavati? Inquire. He says, come to know. See, you and I, all of us are college graduates, we have inquired about so many things. In fact, we take pride, isn't it? I don't accept anything without inquiring. This is all, kya bolte, they are just thinking, what is that word? Like when you take the row 13 is bad, etc. Kya bolte ho?
Oh, superstitions.
Superstition, right. So this is all superstitious. I don't accept it, Thus, even with our religious Naga Panchami, Nako, Dudpe, are all superstitious. I don't believe. I'm a man of intelligence. Bhaiya, have you ever inquired, who are you? See, one of the beauty of Raman Maharshi, any time, 95+% of the time, if you read, anytime anybody went with a question that Maharshiji this, that, he would listen quietly. And at the end he says, who is asking this question? Right? And naturally the person will say, me. He says, is it your body that is asking the question? Naturally say, no, not body. Who is that? He will force us to think and take us to what? Because you and I have never really inquired. So here is an inquiry. We have done it in the past, but if you really follow with Manan and Chintan, it can open up vast, mental fields to take you to the final destination of being established in the truth. Unfortunately, you and I, intelligent people, right? We get so satisfied with the jnana, knowledge at the intellectual level. Our Hinduism is so great. Have you ever seen Ramdev Maharaj? You do pranayama, etc. Your body is full of oxygen. It will keep cancer away. It will do this, Kapalbhati. When did you do it last? I'm thinking about it. Similarly, do you know who you are? You are not the body, you are not the mind. Aham vritti, idam vrittis go, etc. But have you ever sat down on your own and thought of it? No, Gaurang uncle does it during the week. And let him give me the very essence, like Bhagavan gave from Upanishad to Gita. So I just listen to it. See, please understand, unless I exercise all the knowledge of how to swim, sitting in my chair will not help me. To burn the calories, I have to get into the water and swim. So here he says, Chinvataha, think, ahamayam kuda, where does this ahankar come from? And he says, when you inquire, right, like Raman Maharshi is asking, ai patatti aham nija vicharanam. See this word, nija vicharanam. Okay? The reason I am repeating this is I know we all love this, but we do not sit down and do nija, khud ka, my own, vicharanam, thinking. Not Chinmayananji says, not Raman Maharshi says, not Gaurang uncle explaining what Raman Maharshi says. But I myself want to find out, what is this aham vritti? Nija vicharanam. And these, please understand, Jnana Marga, don't think that I'm in Jnana Marga, so I should abandon the previous three. Jnana Marga is not easy. But every one of you will agree. There are times in your life when you feel like acting and doing karma. I want to do this, expecting nothing, wanting nothing. Then there are times when death occurs, something, you become emotional and bhakti bhav comes. Right? Sankata Mochan, you hear about Hanumanji, Tulsidasji and what happened, etc. Suddenly bhakti comes in mind. And there are times when you hear about Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, etc. Chitta Nirodha Vritti, I want to do japa, quieten the mind, yama, niyama, etc. Right? So Nija Vicharanam, when one is fit. Right? Just as a 3-month-old baby, you cannot give food. the child has to develop little bit ability to digest 6-8 months, then give a squashed banana, a little bit of cooked rice, really mushy, then slowly increase. Similarly, the very first word of Brahma Sutra says, Atha to Brahma Jignasa. Meaning, now that I have Vivek, Vairagya, Shamadama Adi Sad Sampatti, then only I am ready for this. Vivek meaning, please understand, if my goal is to go north, Vivek is what? Anything that takes me to south, I avoid. Keeping my goal, I want to go north. So if I want to come to realize Narayana, Pratyak, within my 24-hour a day or during waking hours, the attention of mind and intellect should be where? In the world of OET or towards the Lord. Naturally, I have to drive at that time. I can't say my attention is here and not in the car front of me unless you have a Tesla. Then also you better have some, attention. But all the time when mind is just churning away, doing nothing, turn the attention to here. All unnecessary thing, withdraw from here. Nija vicharanam. He says, when you do this, I patati. He says, this I falls. And we had seen, right? And when I inquire, even what is this body? Right? Made up of 5 elements, and it comes in detail. But the ahankar, how the subject can never be object. I am the subject, karta. For me, all of you are karma, the object. Those of you who have studied in vernacular language, you understand karta and karma, the vyakaran, at least subject and object. And for each one of you, you are the subject, the karta, and all of us are object, the karma. Not action, karma, the object. Right? Meaning the subject is always someone other than the object, isn't it? Now, I am looking at all of you through my eyes. Who is seeing? The eyes are seeing. And behind the eye is the mind. The sense organ reports to the mind. But what do I say? I am seeing or eyes are seeing? Eyes and I. What do I say? I am seeing. Eyes are seeing, and I say, I am seeing. So I, the subject, karta, who is aware of the eyes, isn't it? Eyes are an object. I know my eyes, right? I can't see my eyes, please understand. But I know they are here, right? So I, the subject, knowing this object, I, sees all of you, and what do I say? I see you all. Meaning what? I, the subject, have taken the eyes, the object, to be me. The very vyakaran that says subject and object are different, I make a mistake and I have never inquired, and I call myself very intelligent. Little inquiry reveals that I have mixed up the two, subject and object, and that which is mixed up really has no true existence. And the same thing with my mind and thoughts. I am happy, I am unhappy. And this comes in the following slokas very well. So he says, when I just think this subject-object combination, light and darkness can never be together. But here is it, even though I am not the eyes, I say I am. So he says, when you start thinking, this I drops because I am not this I. Then he says, what happens when you come to know I am not this I?
Ahaminashabhajyahamahantaya sfuratirutsvayam.
No, hurry up. Let them repeat one line. And then when you repeat, together.
Ahaminashabhajyahamahantaya sfuratirutsvayam paramapurnasat. Ahaminashabhajyahamahantaya sfuratirutsvayam paramapurnasat.
Spuratirutsvayam
Paramapurna Sat.
So now Bhagwan is taking us one step further. He says, Ahami Nasha Bhaji, meaning when you inquire Nija Vicharanam, that the subject and object cannot be together, and that says I, meaning that thing is not real. It appears, but it cannot be real because subject-object cannot be together. It is false. So when that falls, what remains there? He says, Ahami Nasha Bhaji, Ahan Ahantaya, I, Spurti. He says, Rut Paramapurna Sat. Ahami Nasha Bhaji Swayam. By yourself, when you inquire, this ahankar, perceiver, feeler, thinker, it drops. Because even in deep sleep, it is not there. It is not there in 3 periods of time. It is really not there. But when it is not there, even in deep sleep, what happens? When the ahankar is not there, are you dead? You are very much there. Right? But because the ahankar is folded, you have no concept of time. Right? Once the ahankar is folded, when you wake up, you have to look at the wristwatch or the alarm or your phone to find out what time it is, especially if you are a senior like me and have nice lunch with lot of rice. Right? And then you go to half an hour, what do they call it? Power nap, right? But the ahankar that said, I want to take a power nap, goes to sleep. It forgets that power nap should only be half an hour. And then when you get up, 4:25, 1:30 to 4:25, so much time has gone. Why? I was there, but the one was aware of time, ahankar, it was fast asleep. Power went away. The nap remained from power nap. Right? This happens. Try once you come to that age, you will know it. You know, it happens. So Bhagwan says, when this ahami swayamna, when it goes away, what comes out is what? Ahan ahantaya. I. This Chaitanya, which is there right now during waking hour, illumining our waking state of consciousness. The same Chaitanya, the waker dies and dream comes. Chaitanya is very much there to illumine the dream state of consciousness. And when you are in deep sleep and the ahankar is also not there, the Chaitanya illumines what? Absence of everything. Meaning there are no vrittis. It is ignorant alone. That's why you say, I slept very well. Meaning what? There were no vrittis. How do you know? Remember, see, there is a contradiction. I slept well. If you slept well, how do you know it? Think of it. When you sleep, you are not there. I slept well, meaning what? Ahankar was fast asleep, folded, but the one who was illumining was experiencing absence of everything. So when this guy wakes up, there is no knowledge. Therefore, he says, what? I slept well. Please understand. So he says, when this is asleep also it is there, meaning in all the 3 periods of time it is there. Right now when Upadesh Sara is being taught, the lights are illumining. If we have yoga class afterwards, so next Sunday when you have Seva International training us for disaster relief, the light is untouched by it, illumining the training. Then yoga class starts, this. And then music class or slokathon is taken here. That illumines. The light always remains. And when there is nothing Monday through Friday, the light still is there, illumining everything. Okay? If we don't keep it on, this is an example. Others will say, Gaurangbhai, don't waste our money. No, it is off. But if it is on, what does? Illumines nothing. It is there. Similarly, he says, Spurati Rut, in the heart, Ahamahantaya. But how? Parama Purna Sat. Very, very important. This Chaitanya manifests as how? Parama, higher. Purna, complete. Sat, at all the time. Why does he say that? Because this guy When I'm awake, I am is very much there. In dream, yeah, I dreamt well, I'm rich, I'm poor, I went here. But in deep sleep, it is not there. So is it Sat? It's not there in 3 periods of time. In deep sleep, I don't experience. So, and it is not Purna. Do you ever feel you are complete? Right? Look in the mirror. Right? Do you really feel that there is a handsome man standing there? Everybody, when we look at ourselves through our BMI, right? Nobody is 100% happy. If you feel you are handsome, you say, but I'm not really very sympathetic, or I'm too rational and intellectual. People need love. If you are very loving, I'm not really very rational. Everybody feels that. Looking at yourself through BMI, no one can ever feel fulfilled. Why? Because Param, this is finite, right? The short guy feels I'm not tall, tall guy thinks I'm too tall. All these things. Mentally, I'm emotional, I should not be this emotional. Thus, these three can never make me completely happy. So what is it this? Parama Purna Sat, that which always is there, it shines forth. Right, in Houston we experienced this many, many times. Lately we have had no rain. But there are days when weather is so bad, clouds are thick and black. It may be 10:30 a.m., but it is dark clouds and it is raining very heavy. And you are able to see the dark clouds because of who? Not flashlight. Because of the sun behind the clouds. But the weatherman has predicted it will rain very heavy until 1:30, and then wind will take away the clouds. When the clouds of ahamvrutti, the ahankar goes, what shines is what? The sun that was there before the clouds. The sun that was there when the cloud is there, and when the clouds are gone, the sun is very much there. That sun which always was there, he says, Rutswam Parama Purna Sat. He says, Aham Taya, meaning I who is always there. But you never paid any attention until you started inquiring. See, there are 3 kinds of satta. Here it says Parama Purna Sat. One is called, just for in Vedanta, Prathibasik Satta. Prathibasik Satta, Vyavarik Satta, and Paramarthik Satta. Prathibasik is that which is not but I see it. Our dream is called Prathibasik. Basik meaning it is illumined. You see it, you cannot deny it. But you don't need scripture or your mother, father or guru to tell you that the dream is unreal. You wake up and you know it was not there. It is called Prathibasik. Okay? So, in other words, it's like a dream. It is illusory. It is not there. Then there is Vyavarik Satta. Even though I know that this ahankar is not there, the real I is I. But just as in the dream, when I'm thirsty, remember, I could be in the middle of a lake, but that lake water is of no use. When I'm thirsty, I only need dream water alone will quench my thirst. And when I'm wide awake, the dream water will not help. So in spite of knowing myself that I am nothing but the truth, the very fact that right now I'm here, I'm talking to you, etc., that is called Vyavar. I can't suddenly say, well, I don't feel like talking, I don't want to talk about Satchitanand, Paramapurna Sat. No. Right now, in the role of an Acharya here, explaining this, I must explain. That is called Vyavarik Satta. That in Vyavar, I must, so just because you know that this is Mithya, does not mean you don't care. Hey, I have wife and children, in Vyavar I must do. Very, very important to understand. The same Bhagavan Krishna, who explains to Arjun, Atma can never be wetted, can never be burnt and all these things. And Arjun, you are that. And the same Krishna tells Arjun what? Uttishta, yuddhasva. But how? Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phalesu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbhu Mate sangostu akarmani. Very important to understand. Otherwise, what happens? Vedanta gets confused. I mean, not Vedanta, we get confused. And we says, look, I have no responsibility. Ahankar is not there. I am Paramatma, Paramapurna Sat. You have responsibility because Prarabdha Vasat, you are here. And you have spouse, you have children, you are a citizen of Houston, citizen of Texas. For each one, unless I take no benefit from city of Houston, I cannot say I have no responsibility to city of Houston, right? If it allows you to own a home, to pay property tax is your responsibility. You can't say, I'm not an ahankar. No. It is please understand, it is very important. So Bhagavan says, Arjun, yes, in essence you are Chaitanya. But right now, as Hastinapura's prime family and commander-in-chief, you must fight. How? Not that you should fight with an aim to win, but whether you win or lose. Karmani eva adhikarasya. You do your responsibility, fulfill your responsibility. Mahafale sukadachana. Whatever result comes, you do your very best, and the very fact that you are not attached to the result, mind and intellect is 100% available, and when my M and I is available, I will do my level best. Suppose I am not very well prepared, or I am myself confused, and before coming I am afraid, can I really explain this? How would you all think, etc.? And with all that in my mind, you think I can explain? 75 to 80% of my ability will be taken away by the worry that what will they think, maybe the next Sunday nobody will come, and just like Atma I will shine here. Think of it. So when one understands, he fulfills his duty because there are no expectations. So he says what? Ahamahantaya spurati. It spurati rutsvayam, in the heart itself it shines. When there is nothing, it is that Swanti devoid of all the thoughts. It shines of its own as Paramapurna Sat, as one complete, where there is no baki that I am incomplete. It doesn't need anything to complete. Remember, when I look at myself through the body, then I think that, hey, look, during these 2 years I put on extra 7 pounds, I want to reduce, right? Not Purna. But when I look through my mind, I was very harsh with him or her, I should not be this, this. You feel incomplete. But from this standpoint, I'm not, all this is mithya. The entire dream is not there with respect to the dream. I, the Mr. Waker, is Paramapurna Sat, only relatively. Okay? So Prathibasik, Vyavarik, and Paramarthik Satta, that which is Parama Artha Satta, that which is always there. Now Bhagavan says,
Idamaham pada bhikramanvaham ahamilinake pralaya sattaya Idamaham pada bhikramanvaham Ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya.
Together.
Idamaham pada bhikramanvaham ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya. Ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya.
So now Bhagavan Raman Maharshi says, Idam meaning this Paramapurna Sat. Remember, when suddenly he says Idam meaning what? Connecting to the previous sloka, where he says, what? Ahamaham taya spurati rut, in the heart is full. Paramapurna Sat. So Idam, this Paramapurna Sat, this Atma Narayan, who is all pervading, Paramapurna Sat, Idam. And what is this Idam? Idam Aham, right? This, which is essentially my nature, right? Seer minus the object sin is pure knowledge. So he says, I am that which was described as Paramapurna Sat, which is I, Pada, Abhikyam, which is indicated by the Aham Pad. So there is one, the little I, perceiver, feeler, thinker, the ahankar. Now he says, this Paramapurna Sat abhikyam, meaning indicated, pada, the word indicated by the word aham. So now he's talking about this aham, right? The one that is always there. There is one more aham. Okay. So now he says, anu aham ahamilinake ahamilinake api alaya sattaha. So now he says, this Paramapurna Sat indicated by this anu aham ahamilin. Anu aham meaning that which follows it. When I take myself to be a wave, right? Meaning an individual wave. Individual wave, the minute it identifies with the shape of the wave and the name wave, fear comes, right? Hey, if I am this wave, the wave behind me is getting bigger and bigger. It will swallow me. Or the kinara, the shore is very close, and I will become foam and froth, and I will die. Who will protect me? I am a product of the ocean. Hey ocean, please help me, please help me, please help me. But if that wave comes to know that I am an integral part of the ocean, non separate from the ocean, ocean at play is me, and the essence of ocean and me is nothing but water, I am not separate from the ocean. In the same way, the Jeev, as long as I take myself to be this body, mind and intellect, hey Bhagwan, whoever you be, right? Whether it is Allah, Father in heaven, Ram, Krishna, Hanuman, hey Narayan, that power beyond that, I don't know who has created this, I guess, please help me. Those of you who have studied Tattva Bodh, you know it. So this Upadhi of Sharir, Manana, Buddhi, Sarir I am not, mind I am not, that which is devoid of this Upadhi, right? And what is this made up of? Pancha Mahabhut, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, right? The space, air, fire, water, and the matter, right? I am made up of that. Each one of you is made up of that. Every living being is made up of that. In fact, the entire globe, sun, moon, they are all made up of that alone, isn't it? And what is it? It is inert. How can I be different from the total? Just like all ornaments are nothing but gold. But as long as the ornament doesn't know, it looks upon gold as the god, and I am part of it. But when it knows that I am gold, there is no need to pray to the gold. Hey, I am gold, only appearing in this form. So when as long as there is Jiva Bhavana, there is Ishwar. But the minute I come to realize that I am this, right? I, the individual Chaitanya, with my ignorance, Karana Sharir, is this Jiva. The same Narayan. How? I am awareness, each one of you are awareness. Same awareness, functioning through the total Akash, total Vayu, total Agni, meaning total Pancha Mahabhut, the one who has Aham Vritti in the entire universe. I, just like you in the dream, right? When you dream, aren't you pervading the entire dream? Similarly, that Narayan, functioning through the entire universe, is he with his Maya is called Ishwar. So as long as I take myself to be Jiv, I invoke Ishwar. But the minute I realize I am not this, but I am this, then the Ishwar Bhavana also drops. So he says, Idam Aham Pada Abhikyam, that which is indicated by the Aham Pada, which is Parampurna Sat, Anu Aham Ahami Linake. Both this Ishwara and Ahami, the Jiva, they both drop Ahami Linake. Alaya Sattaya, very important. Go back to verse number, what is it, 11 or 1 second here. Okay, go to 13.
Laya vinashane ubhayarodhane Layagatam punar bhavati no mrutam.
Laya and Vinas, two words, right? We saw it very clearly. Ubhaya rodane, right? Vayu rodanat. So he says, when the both are there, Laya gatam punha bhavati. Laya meaning the dull. You go to sleep, you wake up. Laya gatam punar bhavati. Vayu rodanat, by controlling the breath, etc. Mind will become quiet. The mind that was a problem is quiet. But as soon as meditation is over, as soon as control is over, what happens? My mind comes back with all the problem. Laya gatam puna bhavati. Namrutam, the mind reaches mano nasha. We have seen clearly. Mano, objective mind remains, subjective mind dies. When mano nasha occurs, bhavati no mrutam. He does not come back. How? Prana bandhanat leena manasam. By controlling the breath, mind, man ka lay hota hai. But ek chintanat na sametyata. Upon inquiry, which is nija vicharanam, that ahankar drops. So what is he saying here? Api alaya sattaya. Laya, earlier he says, right? The laya hota hai, then the mind comes back. I sit down and observe only my breath, focus on it, and then Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Slowly, slowly mind becomes quiet. But as soon as Om Namah Shivaya stops, etc., again what? All the challenges, problems that I had will come back. But mano nasha, what? Alaya, not laya, alaya, meaning the subjective mind that is gone permanently. Meaning through knowledge, when I have understood that this guy who says, I have this problem, I'm happy, I'm unhappy, I have to solve this. Hey, this really doesn't exist. Only I exist. And what is my nature? Parama Purna Sat Alaya. Alaya. There is no laya. I always am. The light says whether Upadesh Sara is going on, Manduke is going on, yoga is going on, slokathon is going on, or nothing, I always shine. So he says, Alaya Sattaya. So that always is there. So like a golden ornament, water and wave. Okay. So now there are introduced two things. Vyasti is individual. Samasti is total. Right? So Jiva is called Vyasti. Samasti is Ishvara. Ishvara includes us. He is not separate. When we say Ishvara, meaning the total mind. Right? So Hiranyagarbha it is called also, but don't worry about it. Ishvara Bhagwan who includes everything. How? When I dream. I, the dreamer, the creator of the dream. Everybody in my dream, suppose you decide that Gaurang uncle is good, but not as good as I am. And you dream tonight when you go home. Or if you have a good lunch and a lot of rice, and today is Sunday and you take a nap. And you start sitting here and giving Upadesh Sara. And all this, they are sitting there, and I am also sitting there. And you are seeing, Gaurang uncle says, my God, this guy knows so much. I never thought of it. Thus you are giving this talk. Right? Now in your dream, every one of them are there, including Gaurang uncle, and you are separate. Aren't you there in every one of them? Think of it. You, the dreamer, is the Ishvara for all of them. You can decide, and one person gets up and goes. Right? The dreamer decides, isn't it? Suddenly you might say, okay, Gaurang uncle, I'm confused with this line. You come and explain, and you sit down. In your dream, it can happen, isn't it? Meaning what? You are the Ishvara. But the minute you wake up, all those individuals, including the one who were in the dream, what happens? They all become vacant, just one alone. Similarly, Narayan with total Maya, Ishvara. At an individual level, perceiver, feeler, thinker. Now Bhagwan takes us to the final analysis, which leaves no doubt that you are not this, but you are this. Analysis kind of we have seen, but from a little different angle.
Vigrahendriya pranadhitamaha नाहमेकसत् तज्जडं ह्यसत् विग्रहेन्द्रिय प्राणधीतमः नाहमेकसत् तज्जडं ह्यसत् विग्रहेन्द्रिय प्राणधीतमः नाहमेकसत् तज्जडं ह्यसत् नाहमेकसत् तज्जडं ह्यसत्.
2-3 fundamental things we must clear in order to understand this sloka very clearly. Okay? In Sanskrit, there is a thing, yo yasya drashta, yo yah, yasya drashta, saha tasmat binnaha. Okay? Yo yah, whoever he be, he who. Yasya drashta, jisko dekhne wala, the one who is a seer of something, right? Yo yah yasya drashta, sah, he, tasmat, tasmat, that which he is seeing, binnaha. Right? Any doubt? I, the drashta, the seer of all of you. Yah, whoever he be, meaning me. Drashta, the seer of the drashya. He says, tasmat, from the drashya, binnaha, I am something other than what I see. No one has that doubt. And therefore he says, Ghata drashta, ghatat binnaha. Ghata drashta, see, in those days, in Sankaracharya's days, there were no Teslas and Chevrolet, okay? No Toyota. Ghata, pata, that were the common things, okay? So in Upanishad, this ghata, pata, rope, snake is very common. So he says, Ghata drashta, right? Because in every town there is kumbhar, everything is made up of, before aluminum and stainless, everything was mittikai. Ghata drashta, the seer of the pot, Ghata drashta, ghatat binnaha, he is someone other than the pot. Very simple common sense. Therefore, he says what? Vigraha indriya prana di tamaha. Vigraha visheshena grunati, that which can be seen. This sarir is a vigraha. You can see this. I can see this. Meaning this is a drashya for all of you. So he says vigraha indriya prana di tama, ignorance. All these are sin. Therefore what? Ghata drashta, ghatat binnaha. If all these are sin, I am someone other than all these things. Right? There is another thing that is important to understand is what is this ego, right? We keep talking that ahankar is there and ahankar drops, etc. Just so that I don't miss it, I also made a note. Ego is a sense of individuality. You know that I am. Sense of individuality which arises from my or one's identification with one or other thing. You know, let us take an example that many of us are familiar with, either the weight or when you market goes up and down and you look at it. Right? When you look at your total wealth, let's say that your objective is $100,000 and the market has gone up to 110,000. Now, how do you feel with respect to that? Pretty good, isn't it? Meaning, my identification with only that figure on my computer, right? Please see, ego is a sense of individuality which arises from one's identification with one or other thing. Identification with that total that you see. I identifying and say, today is a good day, right? I had a friend, I'm not exaggerating. When market is really down, he would tell his wife, "Aaj khichdi pakao." In Gujarat, khichdi is, in South it is different. But in Gujarat, then khichdi meaning not a good day. And when the market is up, he says, "Ashiro banao." In other words, it's a good day. Meaning what? I identifying with that thing, the bottom line. and therefore I say, I am well off or I have lost. That is called ego. Now, what is this ego, right? We says, Patati, we don't have that much time, so I want to leave you with one thought, okay? Pay attention. Suppose if there is there is an actor, and I was told in my yesterday's class, most of the Bollywood actors who are wealthy, they live in Pali Hill area. Okay? Now this actor, is a film actor, but decided that I also want to be a stage actor for, 1 year or so. So he decides that, and very well-known actor, and he is given the role of a king. Okay? Now understand, when he leaves his Pali Hill home, he is wearing his regular clothes. He is a very well-known actor, driven by his chauffeur in his Lamborghini. Right? And he arrives at the studio. Right? And they do all the makeup, etc. And then he goes into the green room. In the green room is the crown, all the clothes that a king wears. Right? Now tell me, is the actor king when he leaves his home, when he comes out of his car at the studio? Even when he is being made up, he is not king. The mugat, the crown, and all the clothes, etc. that the king wears, is it king? Now in the green room he wears that. And he comes in, and those guys standing, Raja, the Raja, Maha is entering, and he walks, ding, ding, and he sits down. Now who is sitting down? The king. Is the poshak, the dress king? No. The actor? No. But when the actor and the cloth, neither of them are king, when they come together, there arises a king, which is a notion. Do you agree? Remember, by himself, let us assume Amitabh Bachchan, right? Because you all are familiar. Amitabh Bachchan. Right? He is Amitabh Bachchan. Jaya will never accept he is a king. Right? He is just Amit. And the clothes and all the makeup, clothes are not king, but you bring the actor and the poshak, the dress together, and put the crown with all that makeup. And the second he enters, right, Raja Adhiraj, right, Maharaja is there, and he sits on that throne, he is neither Amitabh, what is neither dress, he is the king himself. Where did he come from? Really doesn't exist, isn't it? But every one of us will accept there is a king. In the same way, Chaitanya and BMI, PFDUET. Combination, right? This is what? Inert, isn't it? Akas, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, we have seen. Body is inert. Mind, intellect, all made up of 5 elements. Inert. It cannot be conscious. I am conscious, right? Otherwise I cannot speak. Light, consciousness, and inert darkness can never be together. You bring light with darkness, what happens? Darkness disappears. Yet, when you bring Chaitanya with this inert body, there as if arises an unholy combination of Chaitanya and inert, like that actor and the poshak. Poshak meaning dress. And there arises a king who really is not there. In the same way, you and I am this, I'm slim, I'm happy, I'm a teacher, I'm this. Bhagavan says, all this is aipatatiham nijavicha. When you and I think a little bit, he says this aham really falls down. Does the Raja's example make things a little bit clearer? How the king comes into existence? In the same way, oh, he told me this, I'm hurt and he's this. All this, who feels? The one who is. Now this Raja in the war, the Wazir comes and says, our kingdom is gone, and Raja says, hi, kingdom is gone. Hey, you are not really the Raja, and my kingdom is. Same thing happens to me. Oh, he told me this, she told me this, he doesn't love me, he hates me, all this is aham aham. But where is this aham? This is not aham. Chaitanya is not aham. Where is that perceiver, feeler, thinker? Aipatatiham nija vicharanam. Om sarve bhavantu.
Sukhinah sarve santu niramayah sarve bhadrani pashantu ma kaschit dukkha bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Once again, I want to remind everyone, next Sunday, plan to be here. And also those who are listening on YouTube and all of you, please tell your children, those who can come, please come. It is for our own benefit. Hari Om.